Hey, have you ever noticed those conflicts in your marriage? They blow up like way bigger than they should. Like you could be fighting about something stupid, right? Those little annoying, irritating, itty bitty little conflicts about the dishes or the socks or the laundry or the dog. All those little stupid little fights, those little teeny tiny ones. And they feel way bigger than they should. That's because most of us aren't fighting about the thing. That little thing represents a bigger thing from the past. We're working out old wounds in present conflicts. And if you don't get that, come in close. You're going to keep fighting a lot and a whole lot. You're going to keep blaming each other about the wrong thing, and the cycle's never going to stop. I want to give you the gift of a trauma-informed marriage. And I want to talk to you about 3 shifts that you can start interweaving into your marriage. So it's more trauma-informed. It's more geared towards the healing and restoration of you and your partner, and hopefully your relationship, and all the things, all the people, all the relationships that come into contact with your relationship. Like if you have kids, Here's the first of a crazy novel idea. Here it is. Seeking safety before solutions. You can't problem solve. Your partner can't problem solve if you're in a state of fight, flight, or freeze. The 3 Fs, as I like to call them, I'm not calling them. I didn't make that up. Got really shaky there. The 3 Fs, as they are called, I didn't make them up. Fight or flight or freeze. Those. In other words, you're emotionally dysregulated. You're not in the mode that can consider what you're thinking and feeling and how that's affecting your ability to talk, your ability to listen. You're not thinking about how that's impacting your partner. And so you're stuck. You're trying to punch a hole in the wall. You're trying to saw a piece of wood with a hammer. The trauma-informed couple, they learn to pause. They learn to breathe. They learn to regulate their nervous systems. They learn to recognize the dysregulation in their nervous systems. They learn to connect first, connect before they correct. That enables them and empowers them to then become really good problem solvers. But they have to feel emotionally connected and grounded first. So instead of going at what's wrong with you, I want you to think about and contemplate what's happening inside you. So before you go into attack, what's wrong with you? Ask what's happening inside you. Are you ready to work on a problem first? Or are you caught up in your feelings? And that's okay if you are. See the one. Okay, number 2, crazy idea number 2 of trauma-informed marriage. I want you to see the wound, not the weapon. Things like anger, withdrawal, criticism might be, or most likely are, protective responses to a threat. So if you're going to be a trauma-informed marital person, figure out what the threat is. What is the threat that my partner feels like they have to protect themselves from? The trauma-informed marital people ask themselves, what pain is this reaction covering up? When you see a wound, compassion replaces defensiveness. When a partner speaks out of their wounding, we take it as fact. We take it personally. But if you can see beyond it, if you can manage not to personalize and not to take it as truth or reality, but can see into the pain and the fear and the trauma, the wound, their hurt, their abandonment that's behind it, that's motivating and informing their response to you, and you can respond with compassion and kindness and care, you are literally rewiring your partner's brain. All right, number 3, rewrite the story together. Trauma tries to write the script of fear and disconnection. That is the story, and it's on repeat. I grew up with cassette tapes, and so I remember a cassette tape going, like it would just get stuck in a loop, right? And just repeat, repeat, repeat. But the trauma-informed marriage recognizes the repeat. The echoes of the past, the ripples of the past are flowing into the present. And they don't need to determine the present. The past doesn't determine the present. It can influence the present, obviously. Of the past connection to the present, we can start to make new choices. Viktor Frankl had that awesome quote, there's a space between stimulus and response, and in that space is freedom to make different choices that can determine our fate. You have the freedom, you have the ability to make a choice between that stimulus and that response. What do you want the response to be? The past trauma response or the present trauma-informed healing response? Pick the healing response. Try it. And every tiny little investment you make, every time you do a repair, every time you notice your trauma kicking in or it's your partner's trauma kicking in and you say, hold on, stop. Let me just connect with you. Let me just sit with you. Let me just understand. Let me appreciate why this is hard for you. Let me respond with compassion that sees through your response and what's motivating it in the back part of the brain. Trauma is back here, right? Present is up here. Trauma back here. That's not true. But if I can see past it into the back part, the trauma part back here, and I can speak to that, you're okay, you're safe, you're loved, you're worthy, you're valued, I care about you, and I want to hear your concerns. Every time you can do that and you can make a little bit of a repair, you're rewriting a new story, a story of healing. It's an awesome story. So the argument isn't really about the dishes. That rage cleaning, it's really about, does your nervous system feel safe? Do you feel loved and connected in your relationship? Can you trust your partner? Can you trust yourself? So practice safety before solutions. See the wound, not the weapon, and rewrite your story together. Do this in a 1,000 million trillion little micro ways, and you'll see a huge transformation. The accumulation of all those small steps, all those small repairs, all those small connections in the face of disconnection is going to rewrite your story in a huge, massive, transformative way.